something I can see turning out of that black hole, two luminous discs. The eyes, it might be a face, might be almost but heavens, something wriggling out of the shadow like a gray snake. Now it's another one, and another one, and another one. They look like tentacles to me. Oh, yeah, I can see the thing's body now. It's large as a bear. It glistens like wet leather, but that face, ladies and gentlemen, it's indescribable. I can hardly force myself to keep looking at it. It's so awful. The eyes are black, and they gleam like a serpent. The mouth is a kind of V-shape with saliva dripping from its rimless lips and seem to quiver and pulsate.
Alongside the fog over the lake, there's a cloud of grief hanging over the Lakeside Bar and Grill. The building is empty save for their host, Lefty Douglas, but the signs of mourning are sprinkled throughout the bar. Flower petals drift from the memorial wreath in the corner. The slow drip of the kitchen sink can be heard through the fry cook window. A lone radio plays in the kitchen. The light buzz of a neon sign flickers in the front window. There's a stillness here, but perhaps not for long, as Saint and Alistair get to explore the Lakeside Bar and Grill. Do whatever you want.
We've been set loose.
Let's fucking go.
It's like the 2-minute speech that a camp counselor gives before free hours or whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone just shut up for like 2 minutes. Okay, now you can go do whatever you want. Fuck.
Yeah. Now, as I recall, I was about to go explore the shoreline, I think. I had asked Alistair to join me in my investigation. And I think that I was about to go explore the lake shore to see if there was ghost activity. But it's also been a minute. Does anyone recall if that is true?
That sounds familiar to me. I will say I wouldn't mind if that was what we wanted to do, just because it would, like, I feel like I would rather interact with just Saint and Alistair for a little bit rather than have to, like, interact with NPCs. And also I think Alistair would love a chance to kind of be like, hey, we've never gone into a situation with an established play. You know, we've never, like, strategized how the two of us are going to work together. We've kind of just been muddling through. And, like, I think he's looking at this as, like, oh, maybe this is the one where I'm going to, like, I feel like he wants to start treating Saint like he would treat somebody, like another agent.
Oh my god.
Kind of. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you want to treat me like an actual ally?
I feel like after, like,
wow.
This is probably gonna come back to bite him in the ass, and we'll have to do the, like, 2 steps forward, 1 step back thing.
Maybe.
But, like, I feel like he kind of feels like he's playing hooky right now, in a weird way. This is totally unsanctioned. This is I'm off the clock. I didn't tell anybody where I am.
Yeah, you did a drop.
I did, but I told them about Springwood Lodge. I did not tell them where I was going.
That's true. I mean, but you're driving your van. Your boss could presumably call you at any time and be like, "Hello, Queen. Oh, please,
yes,
roll up."
And he totally could, and he possibly will. And I may have to fast talk my way out of this, but at least for a little bit.
Or ditch me.
That woof. That would be rough.
You gonna ditch me?
I don't want to. I think it would be interesting to be confronted with what would it take for Alistair to have to feel like he has to ditch Saint at this point.
I know.
It would be hard from a storytelling point of view to have.
Yeah. Also, we have to hang out together. That's the show.
I know that's the whole show. But
wow, I can't believe he wants to hang out with me. Crazy. It's really interesting viewing this as, spoiler alert, I guess. I just finished editing the base audio for our Patreon, like, mini arc that takes place between this chapter and the last chapter, which is really good. If you want to listen to it, you should, by giving us money.
Patreon.com/Infinity Break, $5 a month.
Yeah, exactly. But viewing our relationship now with a refreshed context of what happened at the end of that arc, I think there is an additional bond of trust between us, considering how shit went.
Yeah.
And at the end of chapter 5 also. So if your boss does call and is like, you need to come over and you need to ditch your weird little sidekick. One, this is kind of situations where best friend views each other as the sidekick. And best frenemies view each other as the sidekicks.
Yeah.
And I'd be interested to see, like, what happens if your boss does say, like, you know, you gotta drop him.
Yeah.
Or worse, you need to bring him in.
Yeah.
Oh god, I just got, like, the actual chills.
I know, I don't know.
I don't like the idea that, like, he's gonna have to bring me in because I know too much. Free idea for Ben. I'm sure he's thought of that already, but still.
Oh, I assure you I have.
Oh god. I genuinely, I'm experiencing the vapors.
I also thought about that with Jules.
Yeah, yes, which would have been even worse. If
Jules'
you can imagine.
wink wink disappearance.
Right. Whew, okay. But the point is yeah, we have the time and the ability to actually come up with a plan of action now that we're working, like, together, the two of us on equal footing. Not like 4 and 5 where you called me in as, like, a contractor almost, and then the other ones where we kept just kind of, like, randomly, you know, ending up in the same place, or, you know, once again being called in, like, you know, hey, I'm going to this place, why don't you come with me, or you know, whatever. Now we're doing it together where I've asked you, will you help me? And you said yes, and now we're on this. So now we have to figure out the plan, which I think first step of the plan is, now that we've wandered our way around the full situation, the end result is, let's check out the lakeshore.
Yeah.
I'll do my, like, well, I mean, I guess we can do this in character, hey? Alright, so let's go check out the lakeshore. I'll do my thing, you know. Do you have, like, an EMF meter, anything like that, or a voice box, a ghost box?
That's a good question, Ben. What do we have in the Alistair? What do we think I have in the Alistair mobile?
I'd be shocked if you did not have one of the two, at the very least.
I'm going to say you probably have some, like, bare bones investigative equipment.
Okay.
I do have an EMP meter listed on my inventory sheet. I don't know that I probably, like, I doubt I have a radio, which I might be able to, if we have enough time, I might be able to, like, fiddle around with and try to make a voice box out of one of the radios that I have, but right now I do have,
Okay. Well, I mean, that at the very least works, is between my ghost thing and your EMF reader, we can maybe try and corral and figure out, you know, zooming in on a low location.
There should be standard kit. There's an EMF reader in the back, and got a couple of extra radios. If I have enough time and some tools, I might be able to turn one into something approximating a voice box, but
all right,
that'll be a project.
That's okay. One thing at a time. I think we'll start there, and then we'll start with what we got and go from there. Let's go out to the lake.
Yeah, I will swing by the van, grab the EMF reader out of there, and I'm trying to think about whether there's anything else in there that I think would be useful. I'm gonna throw. I don't know how long we're gonna be out here, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw my blacklight flashlight and the night vision goggles that I have listed just in kind of, I don't know what if I have, like, you know, I'm gonna go with, I have, like, a messenger bag or something.
Sure. You don't have, like, a little fucking dad, like, sling pack or whatever?
Nah,
they're the uncool version of a crossbody bag.
No, I think I do probably have, like, something that I can put stuff in, though, because, like, I'm not wearing cargo pants.
Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, let's to the lakeshore.
Yeehaw.
You step through the double doors leading out through the front entrance of the Lakeside Bar and Grill, remembering, of course, which handle to grip, as the other side of the door perhaps seemed a little stuck in its frame. And the two of you walk out onto the parking lot, out past the brick facade of this building. I think I already mentioned the kind of newspaper, grab a newspaper for 25 cents kind of canisters out front, although, of course, as I believe I already mentioned, none of those are full of anything. This place is not getting the paper anymore. But you walk past kind of the front corner after looking kind of left and right to see which direction to go. You walk around that kind of front corner of the building where the sidewalk seems to extend past the parking lot and around that little corner of the kind of part of the bar that is jutting out into the parking lot where that large window kind of overlooking the road is. You turn that corner and see that the sidewalk leads down for a little bit until it just stops being paved. It is the end of the sidewalk, and step down into toward the lapping surface of the lake. The lake is expansive. Maybe perhaps this is the largest view that you've gotten of it when you just weren't on the bridge. It really does seem to go out for so far, and due to the kind of thick atmosphere that you're experiencing as it gets closer to sundown, it seems very nebulously shaped. But you are indeed at the surface, at the edge of Lake Arkansas.
Cool. Okay. Can we move towards, like, the closest part of the shore that would be, like, where the dude died? I know he died, like, out on the lake. I'm just trying to get as close to where he died without actually going in the water.
Sure. Yeah. So based off of the information I think you've already been told, you're correct that he died in the center of the lake, or at least further away from shore. I believe Lefty suggested that it was only about a half mile in from the bar or so. So I think you might already be at the closest spot.
Unless we went out on the dock?
Oh, yes, of course, unless you went out on the dock.
Oh, okay. That was going to be my question, is there a dock or like a boat launch or something?
Yeah, I mean,
like
maybe
that?
We start here and then go out on the dock. I imagine there will be people coming and going from the dock itself, though maybe not right now with the death. Start here, less populated, move our way out if need be.
That seems reasonable.
All right.
Is there I'm just curious about patterns in this sort of thing. You know, where do you look first? What's your search pattern?
Well, it depends, I guess. I think I told you. I think I said this in the last episode, but who knows if that's true. If I didn't, I'm gonna look like an asshole. I think I said last time that it depends, right? Like, every haunting is different. This is not... It's hard to, there's certain things I checklist off, which have been already checked off, things that would determine that this is not necessarily a haunting, but rather, the hopes of a grieving mind,
Sure.
Fueled by something else going on, broken pipes, something in the walls, somebody knocking something over in the wrong way at the right time. You never know. It seems like at this point that has been mostly knocked off the table, though I'll confirm later. So at this point, if there wasn't going to be anyone in there today, I would take time in the actual bar itself, but it seems like, we're approaching the time where people start to roll up, which is actually kind of what I want, if only to do more of an interview situation, talk to my cousin, if need be. Maybe the owner, though it seems like perhaps she's not super receptive. But in the meantime, I'm looking for something close to where he died. That is more often than not spirits get stuck, right? in the place where they died. I'm guessing he's probably hanging out at the bar because it was an area of significance and it was close to where he died. That happened to work out coincidentally, you know. Maybe it would have been that if he had ended up closer to home, he would be at home instead. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Sometimes people die across the country and end up in their childhood home anyway. That's not super common, I'll say. You know, that's you'd have to have a pretty significant reason to make it all the way back. You know, the idea, which I'm sure you heard before, is that people stay behind as spirits because they have something left undone, something left unsaid. There's a reason they're stuck. That is not necessarily always true. You know, it could be any number of things. I've seen places that were haunted not because there was a spirit left behind a human form, but because the place itself had become a ghost in and of itself. A home aching for a family to fill it starts to create a life of its own. Once again, not common, but so it's hard for me to state a list that I'm going through because every haunting is so unique, just like every life is unique. And it kind of sounds like I'm giving a TED Talk right now, and I'm about to start into my book. So,
it's difficult to systematize.
Exactly. I can't put this in an Excel spreadsheet for you.
I'll do my best to muddle along without it.
I'm sure we'll figure something out. You know,
you've really encountered a genus loci. That's a place that's developed its own.
Yes.
Alistair looks like he's about to is fighting the instinct to just like completely derail this conversation by asking a bazillion questions, and then like quite visibly like puts a lid on it.
I'll tell you about it sometime. For the time being, I think we have another man to find.
Yes, Doc.
Okay. Well, actually, maybe we could split this up. I'm gonna keep splitting the party unless you can think of a reason to not do that. I was going to suggest I stay on the shore, you go to the dock, but actually, winding that back, maybe that's a bad idea because somebody died out here, and there is.
I mean, I when you say that, I'm saying I'm familiar with the operation of an EMF meter. I have sort of the most boilerplate knowledge of what it means, or of what I'm looking at. This is clearly a matter of a breadth of experience to draw on being the most useful resource here. I can go out, you know, take notes, report what readings I took where, but
it might be helpful for us to stick together so I can at least tell you what it fucking means.
It would make my participation more useful going forward if I have a better idea of what I'm looking at.
Then we stick together. Besides, it occurred to me as I was about to suggest that maybe for whatever reason he died out here, and maybe it wasn't an accident, and maybe we don't want to be separated right now.
Noted.
And then a thing crawls out from the deep and kills us both.
Yeah.
Restart game.
No. Yeah. Nessie's here and she's pissed.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So
let's turn on the meter first and see kind of what we get. We'll just walk around the shoreline around here and see, you know, if it gives us anything. What we're looking for. How much do you know? I don't want to give you information you already know and seem like an asshole.
It's more. I mean, we're looking for, I'm assuming, concentrations of activity.
Yep.
Something like that, or if there's any kind of. I'm accustomed to using it like radar. To the effect of more or less spiral pattern. You look for, you know, do you get a ping? Is there a trail? That sort of a thing.
I mean, that's essentially what we'll be doing here. Same thing. I'm just trying to get an idea of, is he located around here? Is he hanging out here until the bar opens? You know, I need to find him before I can talk to him, you know? Or maybe there's something else around here that I can talk to instead. You know, if he died here, maybe somebody else did too. And I'm looking for a witness statement, but not necessarily from the living plane.
I hadn't considered that. Alistair does have one more question in response to that, which is, in the case of overlapping hauntings,
yep,
do they usually interact with one another, or is it a matter of discrete layers of experiences?
Depends. I mean, you saw Springwood Manor, right? Some of them hadn't realized that time had moved on. Some of them had.
Yes.
It depends on how attuned the spirit is to this current realm. You know, I'm hoping to talk to somebody who has realized they're dead and perhaps saw something. Or, most ideally, I'm hoping to talk to the dead man himself. So, let's give this meter a shot and see what it pulls.
Let us meet her away.
Yeehaw.
Not to interrupt the flow of a beautifully improvised narrative podcast, but Matthew, would you like to roll a die?
Yeah.
Sure, if you want to roll something that you think might help you with the EMF meter. Obviously, this is the nature of fate, is that it's kind of your choice.
Well, that depends on whether or not Alistair wants to use it or not.
I'm sorry, that's right.
I'm happy to I am like tagging along with like, I'll hold the EMF meter, but like,
I'm the one who's determining what it means.
And also like and this is something that Alistair is sort of more or less assuming at this point, is that there is him observing a situation and Saint observing a situation. Is Saint it's not necessarily that Saint has like an actual sixth sense that Alistair doesn't possess, but like, if I'm eyes on the meter kind of reporting the numbers, that makes more sense to me to be kind of like, I'm feeding Saint additional data is kind of how I'm thinking about this.
Oh, sure.
Will this count as Alistair helping me, aka, depending on what it is, will I be able to get a +1?
Yeah, I'd call that an assist in
so
fate
that's
terms.
Sweet.
Investigate?
Sure.
Okay. So I have a +2 to investigate, and I'm pretty sure Alistair has at least a +1, yeah?
I have a +2.
Great. So you're gonna give me it's a +1 or more, so I don't get a +2.
Sure.
But I'm rolling with a +3 here.
Nice.
So that is 2 neutrals and 2 positives for a 5 in total.
Ew.
So let's see, Matty, you just rolled a 5 in investigation. You said you're kind of stepping out on the dock itself?
Oh, I was going to do the shore first and then the dock, because the people are going to be coming and going off the dock, and I'd rather be low-key first.
Sure. I will note that there's no one there now.
Oh, okay, well then I'll do the dock now, yeah.
Oh, sure. It's just the two of you and Philip are the only characters in this story so far.
Okie dokie.
And by Philip, I meant Lefty.
Close enough.
Well, Philip is also a character here, but, you know, in a sense. So the ghost.
Yeah. Oh shit, spoiler alert.
I said his name earlier.
No, spoiler alert that he's on the dock with us.
Oh. Let's see. Okay. So, in that case. Okay, so sorry. Go ahead and narrate your action then.
Yeah, so we leave the shore. We're going to go out on the dock since there's no one there right now. With the new information that there's no one there, I'd rather get that done first while there's no one here, and then we can head back to the shore if people start to come in.
Smart.
And I think we'll just kind of, like, turn it on as we get onto the dock and, like, just keep getting readings as we go further out. We can only go so far out, and I'm guessing if we get any activity, we'll get it on, like, the edge, like, going out towards the lake, but, you know, just start and then work our way in just to see, you know, maybe he's actually closer to the bar or whatever.
Sure. You step down toward the kind of edge of the water. The kind of gravel, kind of pebble surface of the ground kind of crunching beneath your feet as you sort of kind of walk back and forth. I assume you're just kind of maybe just doing a little bit of a, walking 20 feet up, 20 feet down, kind of just trying to kind of get your bearings against the coastline, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm going to say you survey the area in front of you, this kind of stretch of 50, 60 feet or so, before you walk over to the dock. There is kind of a weird energy, but you might sort of attribute that to maybe the cold of the water or the kind of thickness of the atmosphere. There's nothing really particularly standing out to you. And Alistair, on your end, the meter is at the low end of the scale.
Okay. If
there's any sort of electromagnetic frequencies happening here, it's certainly not enough that the EMF reader would pick up on anything strange.
Okay.
You walk maybe further over to the right. The dock is basically at the exact back side of the building. If Lefty were to step out of the kitchen, he might as well already be on the dock because of how close the Lakeside Bar and Grill is to the actual lakeside. The dock is kind of slick in the way that rotting wood, especially that coated in algae, can kind of have that kind of slick quality to it. And you almost feel your kind of foot just ever so slightly kind of slide forward as you step on it. Not enough that you're not able to maintain your balance, but there is something uneasy and unsettling about this surface. You don't know how much action this dock gets given the size of the lake and how underpopulated this area otherwise is. But, this dock is old and has kind of stood the test of time for the, say, 50, maybe even 60 years since it was first built, whenever the lakeside went up for the first time. You walk kind of further on the dock out toward, hardly out toward the center of the lake. It quite literally does not penetrate that deep into the lake. But, you're some 20 feet further from the shoreline than you were then. And kind of ever so slightly on the meter, you can see the needle start to kind of tingle left and right, vibrate, shift ever so slightly away from its original position at 0 and closer toward even 10%.
Okay.
Once again, the kind of vast expansiveness of this lake really does kind of sink in with you, the sheer scale of the body of water that you're looking at. But there's nothing interesting that you see necessarily, although kind of faintly through the sort of mist, you see the island in the center of the lake. Hardly an island, there's probably not even a ton of land to walk on, but the rocks that have risen out of the center of the lake, that the piling of the highway is jammed down into. That's kind of center splotch of land in the center of the lake. You can kind of barely make that out through the mist. It feels very distant, but logically it can't really be that far away from you. It's perhaps just the mist that's hiding it from you. Other than that, the EMF meter doesn't move and you don't see anything unusual.
What about as we get closer to the bar?
The smell of the dumpster begins to waft into your nose. As you get closer to that, you get the idea that maybe trash pickup is not as frequent as it ought to be. But that is maybe the most haunting part of being behind at the back end of the bar.
Does the EMF meter go back down?
It does.
God, I kind of want to get a boat, but I'm not going
to.
Yeah.
This can't be the first time that you've been, someone has engaged your services against the advice of other people involved.
No, it's not uncommon.
And
I can't lie for fuck. So I don't know how the hell he's gotten around it.
I know, that's what I'm saying. And Alistair's like kind of, in a way that's like kind of like raises an eyebrow at him and just says, and you are
no, go ahead
not
and say it.
A man given to subterfuge.
Well done. No, not my best skill. I tend to avoid the people who don't want me there. It's less subterfuge and more specifically lying to somebody's face. If I need to maybe show up when someone specifically isn't around, I can always show up when someone specifically isn't around.
I see.
There was one time where this kid wanted me to check it out and the parents didn't, and that one I just said no to. And I just told the parents. And the parents ended up saying okay, actually, after a bit. But I was like, I'm not going to show up in a house when there's like a 12-year-old here. That doesn't, I didn't feel okay with that. That one was weird. But
reasonable.
Yeah, no. Other than that, I just tend to, it's mostly just other adults, so.
But you never make an effort to disguise what it is that you're here to do.
I don't know how I would. And this is not to say that it isn't possible, it is that he genuinely cannot think of a way to do it.
No, it's great. To which Alistair's thinking, that's my whole job.
I mean, parts of it, maybe, right? But not.
No, I suppose there are some avenues of investigation that are difficult to disguise as anything other than related
I
to...
feel weird about it.
I'm trying to think about... So, yeah, no, that's so interesting. This is just that these are two people who are used to operating in extremely different ways.
Two sides of the same coin, two sliding scale. I only lie, and I only...
Yeah.
There are two statues, and one of us lies, and one of us tells the truth.
Two paranormal investigators stand at the end of the hallway.
Yeah.
Three of them. One only lies, one of them tells the truth, and the third one beats your ass.
And the third one has a gun.
The third one does not talk to you at all and proceeds to punch you repeatedly in the stomach.
The third one shoots first and asks questions later.
Yeah. So that's why I'm trying to do as much of the investigating before, the boss shows up. At least at any investigation in areas where we're not necessarily supposed to be. Do that while we have permission. I'm hoping maybe I can convince her to come around. I'm pretty good at that. +4 empathy. High charisma character walks into a bar.
God, how is he...
Also, I have a thing that's a +2 to rapport when telling the truth to get someone to do what I want.
I cannot... This is so good, because I literally have a +2 to deception to fabricate reasons to be somewhere I'm not supposed to be.
That's right! And between the two of us, we can get almost anything.
Yeah.
That puts my rapport at a +4, by the way.
Hot. Yeah, I guess Alistair's kind of listening to this and, fiddling with the EMF reader. And,
I want to make it clear, Saint looks... I'm making faces, but this is a video medium. You can't see me. But Saint does look kind of embarrassed.
Interesting. I think Alistair either doesn't pick up on that or doesn't acknowledge it.
Fair.
But, because he's also sort of, not looking at Saint and fiddling with the EMF reader. Because the other thing that's so strange about this is that, nobody taught Saint to do any of this stuff. Saint wrote his own rule book. Alistair had to memorize... He's
literally written...
Yeah, he's literally written his own
journals.
Rule book. And Alistair is I had to memorize the manual. And, I'm sort of it's how does he... I'm just thinking about, how he specifically would bridge that gap, because, he was sort of, it's I'm used to thinking that's, sloppy, but it's not.
No, Saint is genuinely considered one of the foremost scholars in his field, and literally everything he's ever learned, he learned on the fly. Or he learned from other people.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about the diaper bag full of journals in a while, probably because Saint hasn't had his motorcycle in a while.
Right.
But I forgot about that, which obviously did feature into, I want to say it was chapter 2, in which that featured pretty prominently.
Yeah. He has whole books that he's written on his own about different exorcist materials and stuff, and it's like stuff he's probably like published online. And like, you know, I built him as a character who never went to college because there's no, you know, my Discord display is exorcism trade school, but that's what he did in terms of he just went into the field and did it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, yeah, I know. I figured out how it is that he's going to articulate this. As you've probably gathered, the agency, more junior agents especially, are encouraged to operate according to an established playbook.
No shit.
And it's...
The government wants you to play by a specific set of rules?
They're often very effective. And most of them rely on deception, obfuscation, and limiting the spread of information.
Wow, the U.S. government? The United States government? This is me being a bitch. Saint does not say that.
No, that's fair. Which is, in many cases, reasonable. Avoid a panic.
Sure.
Largely avoiding panic.
People are afraid of the unknown.
To quote your own mantra, team mantra from chapter 4, document what you see, obscure what's possible, and misdirect from what we know.
Yeah. This man is allergic to asking straightforward questions.
Look me in the eyes and be sincere with me.
Considering
Alistair.
he's very literal and he's very used to lying to people all of the time. Or not having to explain this kind of thing. I think that's what I think more than anything, that's what it is. He's not used to having to have these kinds of conversations with people because everybody's always been playing by the same rule book. And so this is uncharted territory in terms of like, I don't have a script for this. Instead of everyone involved is operating according to the same sort of set of mission parameters.
The crazy part is I have no clue what point he's trying to get at. Saint's sitting here like...
No, that's extremely fair, because he's really bad at making it. And I'm trying to force him to just be straightforward in a way that feels authentic to the character. And
be honest.
And, yeah, okay. He's trying to ask, like, basically what he's gonna do is do you want me to pretend to be... You know, it'll be, like, oftentimes he would go into this kind of thing as, like, we work for gas company, this kind of stuff. That's the in here. I can play the tourist, like, I have a lot of masks I can wear. And he's kind of like, I feel like the question that he's trying to ask is, like, what mask do you want me to wear? You know, am I your assistant? Do we know? Should we pretend we don't know each other? Like, there's all of those questions, and I'm struggling to figure out how to ask them in character. Because sometimes this character drives me insane.
As the two of you, I don't suppose the two of you have any more direct investigation you'd like to do behind the bar?
Not out here. I think I want to try and go inside before I go the route of I'm going to get myself a fucking boat and get jawsed. Probably. Be jawsed.
We're gonna need a bigger ghost.
There we go.
In that case, I'm going to kind of set some scenery in place. I'm going to say that you can hear on the other side of the bar, on the other side of the building, you can hear the sound of a car pulling into the parking lot. This area, obviously I've described it as very rural, perhaps under-maintained. I'm going to say there's just enough of say, kind of like graveliness on the entrance of this area. Maybe there's even a pothole toward the front where you can kind of hear, it's impossible not to hear a car pull in. That's sort of that ka-chunk of them switching from the main road onto the little driveway of this bar. but somebody else has shown up at the Lakeside Bar and Grill.
I think that hearing this kind of knocks Alistair out of his, like, thinking and fiddling, and puts it, but he sort of, like, straightens up and, like, goes back in a little bit more into, like, game mode, and it just looks over at Saint and says, "We've introduced me to Lefty as your..." What did we say? What did we tell Lefty? Did we tell him?
I think I just said him like he's with me.
Yeah, we just kind of... Yeah, okay.
This is Alistair, he's with me. I didn't say, like, he's my assistant or anything.
No. And I would... Attempting to put your cousin in a position where he needs to lie about the two of us knowing each other is an unnecessary complication.
I think there's enough people here who know who I am and what I do already that I can't... You can't lie about me.
No.
And I wouldn't feel comfortable with that anyway. Maybe if we were coming into something where nobody knew who I was, you know? But I don't think that's going to be feasible here. And I don't want Lefty to have to lie.
No. I was envisioning lying about me. Not about you. But I suppose... No, you're right. Saint's associate.
Oh my god, they were associates.
He just has it kind of has as just says, "I will. I suppose I'll have to restrain my impulse to. I guess in the Alistair does every once in a while attempt to make jokes. He does kind of like actually look over at Saint, and just as like. I suppose I'll have to restrain my impulse to pull out the ID printer.
There we go. Nailed it. Buckets. My boy made a good joke. I'm so proud of him and I love him. Yeah, Saint laughs. And I think we turn back towards the bar.
All right, and then it's here that we'll have to end the episode. What you've been listening to was ParaScience, a glimpse into a world unknown. It is an actual play horror adventure told to you through the Fate system. Our players are Ezra Kaye as Man in Black Alister McAndrews, and Matty Trumbo-Gomes as capable young man St. Garcia Flores. As for myself, I was your game master and disembodied voice, Ben Hamlin. I also produced this show, with editing assistance by Matty Trumbo-Gomes. Our theme song was by the incorporeal Johnny Rinaldo, and our logo was created by the haunted visage of Terra Bosart. This show is brought to you by Infinity Break, where we're telling stories our own way. You can check out our website and all of our other shows at infinitybreak.net, and I would encourage you to join the haunted chorus of voices at the Infinity Break fan Discord, bit.ly/Infinity Talk. That's capital I Infinity, capital T Talk. We have a Patreon at patreon.com/Infinity Break, where you can start donating to Infinity Break for as little as $1 a month. Finally, if you listen through Apple Podcasts, don't forget to leave a review. Reviews help us rise in the podcasting charts and help more people stumble across our show like a body in the woods. That's all for now. Let ParaScience gaze back at you like a face in the mirror that isn't yours.